Hi, and welcome to the Skincarma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skincarma blog. With more than 25 years in beauty, as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. A few weeks ago, I welcomed dermatologist Dr. Katie Varman back to the podcast for a conversation about the gut skin connection and why acne may be less of a skincare problem than we've been led to believe. That conversation in episode 72 sparked a lot of interest because it challenged one of the most fundamental assumptions in beauty, that clearer skin begins with a better product. But if acne isn't simply a product problem, then what do we actually do about it? How does someone struggling with acne solve it? That's where today's conversation begins. Dr. Katie is back on the pod, and this time we're joined by her collaborator, Chef Kimber Dean, a Le Cordon Bleu trained holistic chef, nutrition educator, yoga instructor, and longtime advocate for using food as medicine. Together, they've created Clear Skin from Within, a 90-day program designed to help people understand the deeper drivers behind acne, from gut health and inflammation to hormones, stress, environmental toxins, and the foods we eat every day. What I love about this collaboration is that it brings together two worlds that don't often sit at the same table: medicine and food. Because understanding what's causing acne is one thing, actually changing how you eat, shop, cook, and live is something else entirely. So let's do it. Let's welcome Dr. Katie Varman and Chef Kimber Dean to the pod. Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
everybody.
Carmen.
Thanks for having us.
It's so great to have you on, Chef Kimber. I'm super excited. And Katie, of course, you're like an OG now. Kimber, you're new to the Skincarma pod, of course, so I get to ask you my favorite icebreaker question. When you were younger, what did you think you wanted to do for a career? And then how did that path lead you to food, nutrition, and the idea that cooking could actually be a form of healing?
Oh my gosh. So I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Mm.
And then as I got closer to college, I realized I'd be really depressed in some of those positions. It's not the happiest clientele all the time. So then I pivoted to culinary school. I just love the idea of food, and I love the idea that it's universal. Anywhere you go in the world, people have to eat. You can share a meal with somebody that doesn't speak the same language and still have a good time, smile, enjoy it. So I just love that unity.
Mm.
And then from there is when I really started learning how food healed. And that path has been taking me in really cool places like this podcast.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to get more into how food heals in a bit. But Dr. Katie, you've been on the podcast twice before. I think the last time we spoke was episode 72, so about 15 episodes ago. But I want to start somewhere new this time. The last time we talked, we delved deeply into the science. Like, we wonked out on the
Yes.
science of the gut-skin
Yes.
connection, which I love, and we could totally do that again. But I want to know, like, at what point did you realize that education alone wasn't enough, and that people needed a real roadmap, not just another pamphlet?
So I was very traditionally trained. I went through regular medical school, intern year, residency, and then I went straight into like a big healthcare system where the training really prepares you for. And so when at some point when I was working at one of these big healthcare systems, people started asking me a lot of questions that I didn't know the answer to, like, what should I be eating? Is the food causing this? What's actually the cause of my eczema? What's actually the cause of my acne? And I realized that I really didn't have those kind of answers. And so I started doing more and more exploring on my own. I found functional medicine. And then I had to leave the big system to be able to take the time to explore like what root cause medicine really is and what's actually at the heart of a lot of these skin conditions. And so it wasn't until I had enough time and space in my own new clinic when I started educating people, and I realized that 15 to 30-minute appointment, you can just not cover very much material in 15 or 20 minutes. especially all of the education about diet and gut health and environmental chemicals. And it just was never enough time. And so when Kimber and I met, we hit it off and we just saw the potential for what a collaboration can look like for both of our expertise and education that is outside of just my little office visit, so that people can really take the information and run with it.
Yeah, and that's where I was going next. I want to know how you both met and why you felt like your skill sets complemented one another. You know, most acne programs are created by dermatologists. Most nutrition programs are created by nutritionists. Like, what brought the two of you together?
So I was speaking at the Integrative Dermatology Symposium. This will be my fourth year speaking with Dr. Raja Sivamani. I am not a medical professional. I took an online nutrition class in 2015. It was just a certificate. I'm not a nutritionist, not a dietitian. I just kind of wanted that certificate so people knew that I do have a nutrition background, and I have a lot of it working with the medical professionals I work with. I've done nurse practitioners, doctors, all kinds of different Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and they kind of give me the outline of how I should be cooking for their patients, which nutritionists, it's so great, dietitians, it's great that they want to be a part of that. I'm just in a very different level of that after opening my restaurants and having so many clients that I write meal plans for and very different diseases and healing issues and struggles. So Katie saw me speak, and I like geek out with doctors like this where I'm like, let's talk. Like, how are you healing your patients? What are you doing with food? It's cool you tell them to eat kale, but then how are they eating the kale? Does it actually taste good? And so, yeah, Katie and I started talking. I'm like, I've always wanted to do something like this. And not all doctors want to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of information to put together for their patients. I think Katie just got tired of repeating it over and over and was like, we should make something that we can just hand them and be like, here's what I say to everybody, a lot easier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it came about. We talked about it for, I think, a year before we took a leap of faith.
Yeah, we were sitting next to each other. We got seated next to each other at like one of the staff dinners because I was doing a presentation on the benefits of moderate sun exposure, and we just kind of hit it off over dinner. And we were like, we need to do something because she's right. I can say, you need to be gluten free right now. You need to not eat dairy right now, and then I'm like, see you later. Good luck with that, because I don't have the resources or the time or the experience, the expertise to be able to teach people how to eat like that. And then sitting next to me is this person who's been doing it for 20 years and teaching people how to heal using food. And I'm like, oh my God, I need you in my life and in my clinic. And so it just kind of, it grew from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into the program, like, what the program is, specifically the Clear Skin from Within program. It's a 90-day protocol, I guess. Specifically, can you walk us through the three phases? Let me see if I remember them. The first is education and elimination. And then there's an interim phase where you're kind of going through the rebalancing and the healing, right? And then the last is reintroduction.
Yes, very close with the right timeline, right?
Yeah.
And I'll let Kimber, whenever you want to jump in, but
chime
just
in, yeah.
Yeah. But you're exactly right. You can't do everything all at once. Like everybody who's ever healed from anything knows that. And so we start with the elimination phase, like you said, and the program is designed to be over the course of 3 months, but some people, it does take longer. And so you can go at your own pace, but we wouldn't want people to go faster than kind of the 3 month timeline. And so the first month is the elimination part. And that is where we are removing environmental chemicals, we're removing triggering foods, all the things that we know that are key drivers for acne. And it takes that amount of time to kind of pull them out. And Kimber she's teaching people how to use alternatives that aren't just like trash alternatives, like other processed gluten-free foods, right? She's really teaching people how to use alternatives to these main drivers for acne. And then after a month, people kind of really have it under their belt. They're like, okay, these are my new staples. Like this is how I eat without the foods. And then the next month, we're really introducing, like you said, those healing foods. And so that's when we're really bringing in the polyphenols, the spices and herbs, and Chef Kimber is teaching people like, how do you make these beautiful, amazing dishes that are actually bringing in the healing stuff? So not just removing the triggers, but adding the foods that are really going to help heal your gut microbiome, heal your hormones in your body. And then that last phase, like you said, is that kind of rebalancing, that restore phase where we're like, okay, we've done all this stuff because we're trying to be able to help everybody, but everyone has their own unique triggers. Everybody has their own unique specific drivers. And so it's like, for you, for this person, the stress management and the things that Kimber does, like her yoga and her breath work, maybe really hit it. And then for other people, I've seen people who are just pulling out dairy and gluten, like huge difference. And other people, like they can actually reintroduce some of those foods and they're fine, but their gut needed healing. And so it's a matter of kind of figuring out, using our method to dial in on what your specific triggers are, and then creating a capstone, like a plan for you moving forward that's sustainable.
Yeah. So from my side, Katie organized and outlined everything, and she made these amazing tracking sheets for each module that really help people. Because when I work with people, whether it be yoga or food for healing or both, it can be really intimidating, overwhelming, and it's very easy to be like, I give up, this is dumb, I'm just going to do what I'm doing until I die. And I'm like, I get it, it's hard, but it's fun. So the elimination diet, the first one, that's pretty easy for me. My journey with my healing, I don't eat gluten, dairy, soy, corn, processed sugar, pork, hydrogenated oils, artificial dyes, all the things. I have 3 cafes that are all the same, and I have 2 cookbooks that are all those guidelines. Randomly, because that's how I ate, now that I work with so many different diets and diseases, they align really well with that. I don't know why, but it seems to all align. And that was great for this. The sugar, the dairy, the gluten are all great things. I've also worked with the FODMAP diet, which is extreme acne cases. That I've worked with more with like Candida and SIBO. But I've worked with that as well. So that was number 1. And that was more like, okay, well, let's give people the foods they miss, whatever it may be, chicken tenders, pizza, lasagna. We want to make it more wholesome in that sense, so they don't feel like this is so overwhelming. And gluten-free, they're like, oh, what do you just eat? Cardboard? Oh, you just eat rabbit food. You're a skinny chef, don't trust her. And I'm like, well, you can't really trust Paula Deen, she's giving you diabetes, so really, like, come on.
Oh my God.
I've heard it all.
Yeah.
And that was like fun. And then the second module was so fun because incorporating is another specialty of mine. Just the different colors she would talk about, or the supplements, the herbs, the spices, which are so healing and give it all that flavor. So you really aren't missing out. But a lot of people don't cook anymore. During COVID, cooking was the number 1 hobby picked up. And I got so excited. I was like, yes, people are cooking again.
Yeah.
So teaching people to incorporate those things. And then the third one was fun because it was a lot more about the gut, like probiotics, prebiotics, things of that nature, which I think is kind of over a lot of people's heads in America.
Yeah.
In Asian cultures, they're always eating fermented foods, or,
Always, yeah.
Indian cultures, all the things. Here, we're like, kimchi, how do you even spell that? What do I find? And so that's really fun to incorporate. And then the yoga that I've taught yoga now for 13 years, practice for 15. And that's a whole nother side of healing I get to see with people is, especially with people with mental struggles, that's a big one, or maybe eating disorders that I've worked with, but getting their nervous system calm. So I do all the meditation, the breath work, the yoga, and then the meal plans, the cooking videos, but it's so intertwined. And again, this all came from my healing of myself. And then randomly it just keeps growing where it's like, no, this is how everybody heals from everything. Not not so absolute, but it's a lot of people like calm your nervous system, check out your thoughts, and then eat a wholesome meal, like heal your gut. Kill your guts.
I don't want to take this away from acne, but Kimber, like, everything you're saying is hitting me in a different way. I don't think you know this. I think Dr. Katie knows that I'm a chronic migrainer.
Okay.
And when I sat, we were talking off camera before you came on, about how I saw my neurologist yesterday here in California for the first time. You know, I'm transitioning all of my medical care from New York. And we sat down and this woman asked me what my triggers were. You know, I've been struggling with chronic migraine since 2017. Like, out of the blue, I just suddenly started getting migraines really often. And I rattled off my triggers, and they were all food triggers. They were
Mhm.
soy sauce, they were avocados, they were white onions, there were nitrates. I'm not sure if it's nitrates or nitrites, whatever's in processed meats.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Are there other triggers?" And I said, "Not that I'm aware of." I mean, obviously, I'm eliminating those things as best I can. You know, I presented yesterday with a migraine, and it's because I accidentally ate mortadella instead of turkey because the deli was out of turkey, and they were like, "Well, this is what we have," and I'm like, I guess I'll have mortadella. And, you know, 2 hours later, I started feeling some weird tingling. And it was right
Yep.
before bed. And I thought I'll just sleep it off. And no, I woke up with a full blown migraine. And I know this migraine because it's the one that I get when I accidentally eat soy sauce. And, you know, when
Yep.
I eat out a lot, every once in a while, they'll sneak soy sauce in there. And I'm not aware of it at first. Have you like ever considered like bringing your skills, like talking about breathing work and calming down your nervous system? Like, we just talked about how I'm on 1,000 milligrams of gabapentin a day. Like, do I need to be on 1,000 no, I would like to calm down my nervous system
Yeah.
naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you totally can. So my healing journey, and I had acne in high school, which we can come back to that, but my
Mm-hmm.
personal healing journey, I was a drug addict from 18 to almost 21. And I was a heavy drinker. Cocaine was my drug of choice, and I got on meth at the end.
Mm.
And so talk about every day doing something. And this is when I lived in San Francisco and was going to culinary school. I'm not going to lie. And so when I got clean, I was so malnourished. I had migraines, I had inflammation, I had arthritis in my joints, and we're talking 20 years old.
Ugh.
I felt this way. So I wanted to quote unquote feel as good as I did high
Mm.
without getting high. And that's when the nutrition really kicked in for me. I started eliminating dairy. Well, sugar was number one because I heard Dr. Wayne Dyer talk about how sugar fed his cancer, but also sugar's as addictive in the brain as cocaine
Mm-hmm.
and has the same neurological effects. So I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be eating this. And then it just feeds the disease. From there, it was like gluten, dairy, soy, corn, all the things that I took out. And that's how I started healing. And then I found yoga, and it was like the
Yeah.
mental game that brought to me. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, like to feel my anxiety and sit with it, but then like be able to breathe through it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got clean and I started going to therapy, my first therapist said she wouldn't work with me unless I got on an antidepressant. And I was like, I don't feel depressed. I also don't feel like I should go from narcotics to opioids right now.
Right. Yeah.
And so she fired me the first session. And then my next therapist was an herbalist. So she taught me about passion flower, St. John's wort, holy basil, all for calming your nervous system, valerian root for sleep.
Mm.
So I got not so lucky, but I just had this healing journey where like things just kept coming into my life and helping me heal. And then, I wrote my cookbook, opened my cafe, and a lady came in one day and asked me, she's like, can I see the chef? And I was like, okay, what's up? And she's like, I just left the doctor. I've been diagnosed with autoimmune disease, and I have a food allergy list. Can you write recipes for me? And I was like, I guess so. I mean, I
Mm.
can. And then from there, it just took off to like all these different things. But like you said, you can do it naturally. And I don't think that it has to be one way or the other. I think if I get in a car accident, I'm going to the hospital. I'm not going to my acupuncturist.
Right.
Please take me to a hospital. But I think chronic disease can be prevented and cured with plant-based healthy diets, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
For Katie, eczema is very different from acne and all these different things. So for me, it's just following what the doctors say. But like, you are so good at being aware of your body, and I don't think a lot of people are aware like you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And she brought that up yesterday. She's like, that's amazing that you know that all of those things are triggers. And I mean, and I left off sugar. Sugar's a trigger. Like if I
Yeah.
eat too much sugar, like the frosting on a cupcake, that'll trigger a migraine. Like
Yeah.
that's obvious to me. It just happened. And also aged cheese. Like I'm Italian. You know how depressing that is? That I can't have Parmesan cheese? Like, because I noticed it. I had cacio e pepe once at dinner, and 20 minutes later, I realized that I was getting a migraine, and I was fine. And alcohol, of course.
Of
All
course.
like all of those things seem obvious to me, and I said that to her. Like, I mean, you really have to, I guess, want to solve it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
that's
have
what
to.
it comes down to, right? You have to want to heal. And you have
Right.
to, once you accept that and then you realize, look, as absurd as it sounds, I can't eat soy sauce. And I know I'm not alone. There are plenty of migraineurs who maybe don't realize that soy sauce is a huge trigger for them. And you'll be very proud to know that I discovered coconut aminos.
Yay. Yeah.
Yay!
I
Like
love coconut aminos.
like it's like soy sauce's twin sister.
Yep.
You can use them exactly the same. It has the same consistency. Maybe it doesn't smell like soy sauce, but like you have to want to heal. And I guess that brings me to my next question. Like, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about healthy eating when they first come to the program?
I'll let Katie answer. She sees the patients.
Yeah.
It's a journey for people, and some people come into the office and they're on board. They're like, tell me what to do. I've done these eliminations. I've tried this. I need a system. I need something to follow. And other people haven't even considered it, And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really a matter of kind of finding people where they're at and then taking baby steps. And so I do a combination of regular medicine and functional medicine. And so I do use medicines, and I think there's a role for medicines to help people. But the idea is that sometimes you're just planting the seed. Sometimes you're like, hey, food can play a really big role. Our food system is somewhat broken, and we're not getting the healthiest foods. And you really have to go above and beyond to make sure that you're nourishing your body. But, from an acne perspective, we'll be like, well, but Haley, let's start some of these topical medicines. And this month, I just want you to pay attention. I'm not asking people to change anything. I'm just like, pay attention to what you're eating, and, and let me know if you feel like, when you go out with your friends and you have pizza and beer, like if you feel a little flary the next day, or if you have cake and sugar, or if you have, a bunch of milk, or, just kind of pay attention first. Because it is a wide spectrum. Some people are ready to go hit the ground running, and then other people, you just have to kind of plant the seed and start nourishing it. And not everybody's in a place in their life where they're ready to make those kind of changes, and you need to support them wherever they're at. But for the people who are ready, I'm like, I got resources. Like I have Kimber on my team. We've got cookbooks, we've got videos, and you don't have to pay me as a dermatologist to teach you to walk through all these little steps. Like now we have this online program, and so you can do it at home and you can take your time, and we have so many hours of information, and Chef Kimber's got tons of cooking videos and recipes. And so my job, I feel like, is to just meet people where they're at, and then support, gently pushing them in the direction of all of these changes.
We only touched on it, and of course I alluded earlier to the fact that we really delve deep into the gut skin connection. But Katie, if someone remembers only one thing from this conversation, what do you want them to understand about the relationship between their gut and their skin?
I mean, just just even that there is a direct relationship. There is a gut skin connection. They call it the axis, but it is your gut is home to trillions of organisms that are um, the ecosystem. The health of your gut dictates the health of your entire body, and your skin is included. So if you are taking care of that ecosystem, if you're putting good things and creating this happy, healthy environment, like your whole body is going to flourish, your skin as well. And there's so much like of the like science that we talked about last time, like to prove why that is. But if you were putting stress and garbage food, processed foods, emulsifiers, modified foods with glyphosates and everything, if you put trash into the system, you're going to get trash out. And so it's just being aware that you have a lot of control over the health of that ecosystem. And that is either going to take care of your body or it's going to lead to chronic disease, things like acne.
Yeah, I need to get back to eating more broccoli. I eat broccoli almost every day in New York. And you you would think that's not that hard to do here, but it's a habit, right? Like
Yeah.
eating whole healthy
Yeah.
foods like vegetables and fruits is all about habit. And I have corrected the habit in the morning. I'm eating a lot of berries in the morning. I like load up on berries. I always pour more berries, those wild blueberries into my bowl before the yogurt than I think I'm going to eat, and I end up eating them all. So OD on berries, people. But like that kind of brings me to the next question I had for you, Kimber, and it's like, people fail at these kind of commitments because life gets busy or things get complicated, and cooking and making meals for themselves is complicated. It's so much easier for me to call Uber Eats. How did you design the recipes and like meal strategies that work for people? Like everybody's busy.
I know. I wish I could have restaurants everywhere. That's a dream. But
Yeah.
when it comes to meal planning, I do a lot of this, and I work with SNAP directors all over the states, and that we're talking going to Dollar Generals to eat. So if you have the resources or not, think about if you live in a food desert. Is it gas stations and Dollar Generals? I really want to think about that. Or are you near Whole Foods and natural grocers? So I think about those things. How can you easily obtain food? So buying them online in bulk or in person. Local farmers markets are great. And I like to remind people, if you go towards the end, I work with a lot of local farmers. They don't want to take that stuff home. So you can really bargain and be like, I'll buy those for cheaper. Thinking about all of that and then combining, easy, simple ways to cook, because you have to, for cooking, you're going to the grocery store, you're writing your meal recipes, you're writing your grocery list, then you have to cook, clean up, package, put away. It's a lot of work, and that can make it not sustainable for some people,
Right.
especially if you're not feeling good. If you have migraines, do you really want to cook?
I do
So
not. Yeah.
I think the cooking videos really help as well. But yeah, giving people their favorites back. We're not just eating salads all day long. Katie makes my pancakes all the time for her kids.
Every
They have
week.
omega-3s and flax meals in them. Yeah. So
Wait, they're
just
what? What's in them?
flax
It's
meals.
mostly
So
flax. It's
Oh, got it.
yeah,
amazing.
Got it.
yeah.
They can
Yeah.
eat
So
like
I like
one pancake. And they're like,
there's
oh.
yeah, they're so filling.
Oh,
So I
funny.
try to sneak in a couple like, oh, maybe you haven't heard of flax meal, because some of our patients haven't.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe that'll be the one ingredient they learn. But everything else, let's keep pretty basic, pretty ready, available. Walmart's doing a lot better with like healthy options, organic. And then, I would say the number one reason people fail is social. And we actually cover that in the course. So, when you go out with friends, are they sitting there like, oh, YOLO, you only once, just eat the French fries in that, inflammatory oil, you're fine.
Yeah.
So talking about how to avoid that, strategies to feel better. We talk about all of that in the course as well. We really want to let people know you're not alone, and they're all pretty common reasons people fail. So we just want to give them resources for that, because the course has a lot, cooking with plastics. We talk about what equipment to switch to, how to get fragrance out of like your dish soaps, things like that. So with acne, there are a lot of triggers, but we wanted to give more solutions than fears, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Like,
yes. It's
let's make
not
this
just about
easy.
eliminating. Everybody, even though we start with like the elimination process, we really try to tell people that this is about like adding things to your diet. This is about like eating like your grandma used to, where you're using
Mm.
herbs and spices and you're getting your omegas, and it's like this vibrant living food. It's not like the dead, like rainbow bread from the grocery store.
Oh my God, I
And
love that bread.
sorry. It's like if you could put the bread on your counter and it doesn't mold over like 2 weeks,
Yes.
like it is not food. Like it's not
Right,
food.
that's
And
true.
so
The bread never molded.
it
Oh
does,
No,
but
but
my
you're
it's
browning
God.
the
flexible. That's
food.
not real. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not real. But that's like, and that is the stuff that Chef Kimber brings. Like just she mentioned like the pancakes, right? I'll make a huge batch of these, mostly flax, gluten free. We do eggs in my home and we do
Mhm.
dairy in my home. For acne, dairy is at least temporarily off the table, but I'll make this huge batch of these pancakes or waffles, and then I freeze them. And
Yep.
my kids will eat them like an Eggo. Like I grew
Yeah.
up eating,
Oh, right. Yeah.
awful Eggos with like Aunt Jemima corn syrup. And so,
Stop. That
and
was a
so
delicious
it was
breakfast.
so yummy, but we're all like, let's be honest, we're all paying for it, right? Once you hit your
Yeah.
40s, you're like, oh well. But like now my kids are eating the same way that I did, where like they can get up, they can pop it in the toaster and they can put their berries on top.
Mm.
And it's just an entirely different meal than the Eggo from the store. And it's not actually that much time on my part because I did them all in one day when we have our like Sunday morning pancakes, and so it's
Yeah.
not, it's different, but you can find your groove where you can do it and it's not that hard.
That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that you make your own Eggos.
Yeah. That's a
It's so
big one I feel
smart
for
though. Like
people.
you're
Yeah.
making the pancakes anyway. That's such a
And
great
you just make
idea.
more and you freeze it. And like
Yeah.
so Chef Kimber has so many amazing recipes. And I'm like, hey, like, how can we get more like ginger, turmeric? And I'm like, can we do these things? She's like, dude, I have this anti-inflammatory muffin that's like walnut oil and like loaded with like amazingness. And she's like, and when it gets old, you just put it in the oven, you bake it, and you turn it into like a cereal. And I'm like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
and
No way.
so and it's just my kids don't even know a difference.
Yeah.
They're like, this is different, tastes earthy, and I'm like, oh,
Mm, I
it
like
is.
that. Earthy, we can handle that. Wait, Katie, you mentioned dairy. Um, can we talk briefly about the effects that dairy has on the body and why?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think dairy, and it's funny when you listen to the list like that Kimber kind of has her as her basic exclusions. I mean, she works with everybody with whatever, needs, but those basic top big hitters of things to exclude are all of the foods that we have just completely ruined, as far as like how we process it, how we've
Mm,
genetically modified it. So like wheat, soy, dairy, these are all highly processed, highly loaded with all sorts of chemicals, and like I said, genetically modified, and all of these things. And so those are the ones that are really causing problem for people. And so I personally, and I know people feel differently, don't think that dairy is necessarily a problem for people, but what dairy you're drinking, where it comes from, the health of the animal, the experience, the life of the animal, and your like cultural background. Culturally, some people come from Norway and other people come from China, and your genetics are going to be very different as far as like what your body is adapted to get used to. So I think that there is room for dairy, a nice whole culture dairy for people, but from an acne perspective, most
mhm,
people are not getting that backyard cow dairy, and it is all of the features that cause acne. So it's designed to grow a baby cow. So it's full of
Hmm.
all sorts of amazing things like growth factors, insulin like growth factor. It's got tons of amino acids and saturated fats and just all the things that make the body grow, which is great in some circumstances, but those are all the same triggers that drive acne too. And when people's systems are overflowing,
mm.
they just can't tolerate more into the system. You have an adolescent that's got a ton of growth factors, but then they're getting all these other outside things too. And so pulling out the dairy can make a really big difference. for people with acne, and maybe they can bring it in, but maybe they do better without it in the long term.
Right.
So that's what we figure out.
I mean, that's the whole point of the program, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we're trying to reach everybody. And so we pull out the things that we know, that I've seen from experience, that Kimber's seen from experience, that are drivers, and from the science, right? Just we have plenty of literature that like proves that these things, that insulin and sugar cause acne. I mean, it is a very straight path from sugar to acne. And so based off of experience and literature, we pull it out for everybody. We let things settle and heal. We introduce the healing stuff, and then we're like, okay, well, now like let's figure you out, right? You're like, okay, can you add this back in? Like what, what are your triggers, and what is a sustainable plan for you moving forward?
You guys are making me want to go see a nutritionist now to heal my migraines.
Well, Chef Kimber is going to be up in Lincoln in August, and you are in California now, so you should come
Yay.
visit us and
Oh,
get
I'm
all
down. Count me in.
that'd be sweet.
Right? You should come. I'll be in Palmdale too, at the IDS. So if you're around, we should hang out. But just to like another ode to the dairy-free stuff. I mean, I think it was yesterday. I constantly am adding to my YouTube videos just because I want to show people there is more out there. So I just uploaded a vegan, gluten-free cinnamon roll recipe. I have a carrot cake recipe with a cashew cream cheese icing. Like, I don't want to miss out either. And when I started this in 2008, there were no Simple Mills, no Siete. There were no good brands out there. Now you've got these cool vegan cheeses and all these different things. And I'm like, everybody's so lucky. I had to make my own ketchup. Like,
Right.
so there is a lot more out there than people realize. And also the hidden things, milk was in a bag of chips we bought at Whole Foods the other day. It was in a barbecue chip. And I was like, how? Why?
Wow.
Why? I mean, I just gave one to my husband because he doesn't care. But my daughters and I, like, we can't eat that stuff. So I'm like, great, cool. Like, now I got to look out for this brand. So
Right. Every vegan would
nice
gasp to turn around a bag of potato chips and see that they suddenly can't eat them. Because I was vegan for 3 years. I would be horrified. Like, no, that's got to be a typo.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. And gluten is in 85% of processed food items in the grocery stores. So, that's where I think people feel like they're going to fail. So it's nice. We have this community with this class, with Katie's patients. And, then the yoga's there to be like, I can be calm during this bullshit.
Yeah. During the bullshit.
While I'm in a toxic soup, I can get through this,
Right.
So, and that's where I want people to realize, like, if I can do it from drug addiction and no resources, I mean, obviously it's a lot better and easier now and more fun, but I did it and I know anyone else can. So I love helping people no matter where they're at.
That's great.
Yeah.
Katie, if we sat down again, we're going to sit down again before 5 years. But if we sat down again 5 years from now, what do you hope has changed about the way acne is treated?
Oh my gosh. I would love, so I think that the direction that we're moving and the direction that I would love to see everything going is to have programs like this for community. So I think the job of the doctor is to kind of help use the medication, pharmaceutical tools to guide you. But then I think that this type of community for education and sharing of information and support is all where it's at. Because the 15 minutes that you have with your doctor is not going to change. Like, it might help support you with the like things that you need to get you through the rough times, the support pharmaceutical or whatnot, or the topicals that can help clear your skin. But where it's at is this parallel in education and community. And so it works together and side by side. And so I would love for other dermatologists, other doctors to have access to programs like ours. So we want to do acne, but we're also going to do eczema. We're going to do psoriasis. We're going to do all these things. But I would love for it to be in all medical fields where people have a place to go, where people understand where they're at. They help share information and ideas and thoughts, and there's all of the free education that they could possibly need, and then all of the kind of specialty tools, right? Also in these like more private communities, and for it to run parallel. with your doctor's visit. And I think that we can really help people take back their health that way.
I
Love
would
it.
also
Love
like
it.
to throw in, I hope insurance starts taking things like this soon, because that's a huge thing for people. Well, I can't pay out of pocket to go to a functional medicine dermatologist, you
Mhm.
know, and it's like, man, I wish healing was more a part of healthcare in that sense. And I think it's going in that direction, but that's something I really hope for Katie's clinic is because I have people using HSAs in their medical insurance to pay for my meal prep services.
Oh,
So I
wow.
think it is going in that direction. I think people are like, oh, food does matter. Like,
Yeah.
it is a part of medicine, you
That's
know?
such a great point. And again, like I had no idea how much you'd be striking in me, Kimber. But I had the unfortunate experience of having to be at Cedar Sinai emergency for 30 hours 2 months
Wow.
ago in a biking accident. Obviously, you can see
Wow.
I'm fine. But
Right.
I wasn't fine then, and they made me stay over in a room, and I was horrified at the nutrition
Yeah. It's
experience.
not nutrition.
Like, do you seriously think, and again, I mentioned earlier that sugar's a trigger for me. Do you seriously think that it's nutritional or what my body needs right now to have 3 vanilla puddings?
I mean, I'm with you. Okay, so
Like,
there's 3 places I wish I could change. So Pepsi and Coca-Cola usually have the contracts in hospitals, right? So
mhm,
I would love to do hospitals, schools, and the military. Like if
Goals.
I could change 3 meal plans,
yeah,
it would be those. Because I mean, when I had my babies in a hospital, I made my husband go to my restaurant and get my food. I was like, I'm not eating this. I don't even
yeah,
know. And I'm in the food industry, so I know what it looks like behind in the back of house. And I'm like, I'm not eating that. It's
yeah,
not real. Those French fries have 40 ingredients instead of just fries, olive oil, and sea salt. Like I'm good.
yeah.
And
They
then
even
goals.
tried to poison me with the turkey sandwich. Like I bit into this turkey sandwich thinking it's completely safe and that bread was the kind that would never get moldy. Um and
Yep.
something was wrong. I stopped. I mean, I took a big bite. I was hungry. Like I'm hungry. I've been here how many hours at that point? And there was a big slab of Parmesan cheese. Like did anybody even think to ask me if I could eat any of this stuff?
Oh, no,
No. And it was like,
no.
here you go. It's time to eat, and we brought you 3 puddings. That'll make you feel better. Like, this was crazy to me. Like, we need to start thinking about food as medicine. And the
Right.
body needs to heal. And, not just in your, like, it needs to recover, daily. But when you're traumatized or you're injured, you need to heal. And food is like as important as what you're taking orally, the pills you're taking. Like
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
incredible. Like, oh my God, that was
Our
such a
grandmas knew this, like our ancestors are
yeah.
just, everyone knew this, like chicken noodle soup, and then
Hmm.
and everyone was fermenting food and taking cod
Yeah.
liver oil. And it kind of got lost. Like we got so busy.
It got
And
lost in the
all,
50s and 60s when all of a sudden everything got processed and frozen.
yeah, and
Yeah. The
microwave.
Industrial Revolution really changed
Yeah.
everything in the world.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, in 1940s, we had 85% of Americans with backyard gardens for most of their produce.
Hmm.
Now it's less than 0.1%. So we've lost control
Yeah.
over our food. And
Completely.
when you look, I'm in the food industry. It's an industry. They want to
Yeah.
make money. They want longer shelf lives. They
Yeah.
want to not lose money. So I understand both sides, but for me, it's such like an integrity thing and a moral thing that I could never personally do that, but I understand why they do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because food is hard.
Yeah.
It's not like a medication that can sit there for months and months and months. Like
Yeah.
if it's real food, it's molding in a few days. So you better be really good at what you
Now
do.
you make me feel thankful that the food has gotten moldy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Right?
You
Right? That's a
should.
good sign,
It's
people.
real, Jen. Yeah.
When
Well,
your
and
berries mold and your bread molds and your cheese molds, like that's a good sign.
I always tell people like if if it doesn't mold in your pantry with the elements, earth, air, wind, fire, what do you think your body is made out of? The elements. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to all of a sudden break down in your body. Like,
Yeah. Oh
going
my
to start
God.
flooding cells or messing things up, get stored in fat cells and all the things.
Totally.
So, yeah,
All
you
right.
want it to.
Let's move on to the lightning round. Kimber, I'm going to subject you to the first question. Katie's
Okay.
already answered it. I don't remember if I gave this to you up front, but I hope you don't feel hoodwinked.
Okay.
It's ready. It's something you believed early in your career that you no longer believe.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
so gosh, there's so many parts of my career. I would say that dairy is healthy.
Mm.
People love to say that, high protein, eat your Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. And that really messed with my acne and my gut. Because, I was on Proactive in high school. I ate Burger King, all the things. So when I got clean, I was reading my women's health. I felt so good. It was like, eat all this dairy. And then I took that out and I was like, oh my gosh, my inches are shrinking. My headaches are going away. My acne is better. So I think dairy was a big one for me. And I wasn't drinking, raw cow's milk because that's a whole other issue in the government and the FDA.
Right.
So we'll just leave it because I work with them personally and it's mind blowing what
Yeah.
they do.
Katie, what's the most underrated factor in acne?
Most underrated fact, I mean, food as a whole. Food. Nobody, it doesn't even come up with most dermatology visits. Like, it doesn't even come up. And so just food as a whole and the enormous role that it plays in the skin of your health and your gut, that is the most underrated. People know a lot about skin health and how to treat it from the outside, but nobody's really talking about how you treat it from the inside. And food is hands down the one thing that you have the most control over, that has the biggest influence.
Yeah. Katie, one food Kimber, one food you'll never break up with.
Oh, I mean, honestly, my biodynamic wines probably, and that's not a food. I just,
Wait, what's a biodynamic wine? This is new for me.
What? Oh my gosh, I sell this at my restaurants, girl. Okay, so
Teach me.
biodynamic is like the holy grail of wines. So it goes biodynamic, natural, organic. It's the opposite of food and alcohol. And so we sell biodynamic, organic, and natural wines. But biodynamic is like the farmer's almanac. They plant it with the moon. It's like all these things. And it is the best wine. It has no nitrates. So I don't get headaches when I drink it. I mean, I guess if I drank too much, I probably would. But
Right.
I do love I'm from Sonoma County. I love my good wines. I worked at Ledson Winery after culinary school in San Francisco. So I just love the love they put into it and all of that. But food wise, I mean, I can make anything I want healthy. So I just don't really, I'm not in that like bubble anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ease back, at some point I'm going to ease back into enjoying wine, and that's probably the place I need to start. No nitrates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm going to get back to you. I'll test it out and see what happens.
Please do.
Yeah. Katie, finish this sentence. Healthy skin starts with
Your diet.
Excellent. I
Period.
love that. Period. End of story. End of podcast.
You know what? Caveat. You know what? Okay. Yeah. So one other thing that we've been talking about diet, and I think that is like absolutely essential. But one thing that we only kind of dipped into was mental, emotional health. Mm-hmm. And so I would say the only thing that is going to trump what you are putting into your body for nutrition and gut health, the only thing that will trump that is your emotional health. Because if you have high levels of stress and are like, in a constant state of vigilance and trauma and overwhelm, and like Kimber was saying, your nervous system is completely fried, like no matter the most nourishing, wonderful foods you're putting in and cleanliness and doing everything right, you're not going to be well. And so I changed my answer. So that's the one thing that trumps absolutely everything. You know.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
just can't absorb it. So, but that's where the yoga, the mindfulness practices that it's so yin and yang. It's so amazing.
Yeah. I need to get back to my meditation too. Broccoli and meditation. Those are the two things that I need to.
Try the broccoli sprouts. Have you ever sprouted just on your counter?
I haven't.
Super easy.
Really?
It's so easy. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it's like 100 times more sulforaphane than broccoli, like
oh,
a head of
wow.
broccoli.
And fun, right? You sprinkle them on everything, and then you're not getting poop and E. coli on all of your on all your sprouts. If you just have them on your counter, they just grow in this big, beautiful, furry like fuzz, and then you put it in the fridge.
I love that. You know, my cat Museus has zero interest in eating any of the plants or flowers, or even I got him cat grass, and I grew cat grass in the window, and he couldn't care less. Like, so this is a great opportunity. I'm excited. Now I need to do that too. Thank you both. I'm going to drop links to the program in the show notes, links to, get in contact with each of you. Kimber, I need to drop links to some of your YouTube videos into the show notes. Like, I'll reach out to you separately about that. But thank you both. This was such an incredible conversation. I'm so glad we finally made it work. And I think people will really benefit from it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us and really listening to what we have to say. It's so fun to talk about this because everyone's so individual. Even you, like, it really resonates with everybody.
Yeah, it really does in their own way. All right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, thank you for listening to the Skincarma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skincarma blog at skincarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.